Hey. Welcome to the Camerican Dream podcast. It's such an honor and a blessing and an opportunity to be alive today and with you also alive watching today's episode. And we're talking about the fifth episode of the Camerican Dream podcast, where we're bringing African descendants from Cameroon in different parts of the world to share their perspective, their mindset, their success stories, so you can also help inspire and champion the mindset and the minds of those who are watching from different parts of the world. Maybe there's a word, there's a phrase, there's a sentence, there's a paragraph that you could share on the platform that could just be the breakthrough that somebody have been craving and waiting to hear. And I'm excited when I interact with people that are listening to the podcast, that are actually listening to the podcast. I'm so impressed to hear how people are telling stories like when I listened to the podcast where Blessed Ntam was there, I'm so inspired because it was fire. When I listened to podcasts where Bruno was there, I'm so inspired because it was fire. When I listened to the podcast where Dr. Fungod Stanley was there, I'm so inspired because it was fire. When I listen to the podcast, and the next story is going to be like when I listen to the podcast of today, it was fire because I was so inspired by the people that we brought as guests. And that's why we're so honored tonight to have some powerful Cameroonians that they have been disrupting their various industry in the part of the world where they actually place themselves and inspiring lives and stories and championing dreams with their lives and with their mission. Friend, we have the honor today to introduce to you our two guests. One of them is from Canada, like some of you already know, for those who saw the flyer, and the other is from United States. We have the honor to introduce you these amazing personalities tonight. And today, my co-host is not any other but the one and only John Etta. Permit me to introduce to you our first guest. She's on the waiting room, and I have the honor to introduce the one and only Blessing Dan. Hello, Blessing. Welcome on the show. All right, Blessing is set right there. Um, while Blessing is getting set with her beautiful glasses, I love your glasses. So cool. Uh, John is equally ready on the backstage, and Renee is ready on the backstage. Right. So, Blessing, you're welcome.
Thank you, Oliver. Thank
Hello,
you.
Blessing. Welcome to the Camerican Dream podcast.
Thank you so much.
Nice, great. So, Blessing, you are an outstanding nurse, and you've been touching lives of people right from Cameroon and Africa, even before migrating to America. What are the three things you love people who are going to listen to this podcast today? That you believe that if they listen to your story and to the part of your story and the past part of what you're going to be sharing today, they're going to live today with.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I know everybody has a significant pathway and stories, but with regards to me, the three things I think might be outstanding and inspiring to others are like the first one is you never give up on your dream, no matter how difficult it's going to be on your way. Or the second thing I would say it's the people that you meet on your way, do not let them go. Use them as an opportunity to grow. And so keep those people that will contribute positively to your growth as well. And then I will say resilience, it's a third thing, which not just goals, but your life. You need to be resilient. You need to be perseverant in whatever thing that you do. So I'm hoping that with these things and with my story, it will be able to, encourage even those who feel like, hey, I can afford it, I can make it. I probably can never be anywhere because of where I come from, my background. I
Mhm.
just want them to know that hard work, it's a key. Yeah.
I love that. Let's clap for that. So thank you for introducing that lecture for today, because tonight you're going to share some amazing stories. And Blessing, it's always a blessing having you here, Blessing, to come and share your stories. There are some young ladies from Africa that they love your story and they connect literally so well with your narratives, and we just love having you here. So it's also a blessing for us to receive you here for as the first ever second time guest. Welcome.
I know, right?
This is home. Welcome, everybody. So let us know which part of the world you're watching us from. Are you watching us from United States, from Canada, from Germany, from South Africa, Cameroon, Ghana, Uganda, Kenya? Which part of the world are you watching us from? Okay. So thank you so much, Mrs. Okay, from YouTube, she says Black Lives Matter. Okay, cool. Yeah, it matters. It really matters. All right, Rene Descartes, the French philosopher. Are you right there? I can see Rene is gauging from the backstage waiting room. Welcome, Mr. Rene Descartes, the IT engineer and the computer guru guy. Welcome, Rene.
Thank you so much. Good evening or good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for adding me to this great show. I'm excited to be here. Let's go.
Let's go, bro. Let's go. I love that vibe. The energy is something else. Let's go. So, Rene, coming in from the IT engineering perspective, computer, some of these things, I ran away from them when I was in university, and you decided to stay. What do you expect everybody who's going to be listening to you today from the Camerican Dream podcast to go home? Three things you expect everybody who's going to listen to you to go home with from this particular episode.
Oh, thank you so much. I always like to start every conversation by introducing myself again. My name is Rene Sambo. Precisely, I'm from Bamukumbit, which is in Dok.
Oh,
So, professionally, I work as a software security engineer, and I have a couple of stuff that I do in the background, but I prefer people consider me as an IT engineer. So, talking about how or what people should get inspired, three things I will say: believe in yourself. First one. Second one, never ever wait for nobody. You have to be
oh,
your own driver, right? And then third one, be financially disciplined. Even if you don't have the right amount of money, the little one you have, make sure that you're well disciplined in the way you spend it. I can share a lot more, but let's keep it at the number three. You asked me for three, so I shouldn't add anything.
wow. I love that, man. I love that. So I hope you have a farm of rice in Dog. That is one of your side hustles. Because
Yeah, we,
it's well
we
known for
do
that.
have. I have pieces of land. Anybody who wants to cultivate rice, you can come and rent it.
Oh, cool.
Okay, going back
Bless,
to
are you hearing that? So let's make a plan and get in up and cultivate some rice.
I'm ready.
Because there might be hunger around the world in any time from now. Maybe it started in some part of the world already. All right. Welcome, everybody. And once again, this is the Camerican Dream podcast. And my host right there, John Etta, is on the backstage and he'll be joining us anytime from now. Okay, like they say, ladies before gentlemen. Okay, or let's go gentlemen before lady. Or let's follow the normal. Let's disrupt it a little bit. Let's go to Renee and start. Let's disrupt a little bit. So tell us what motivated you to pick up the IT industry, Renee, over so many other fields
Okay.
that were at your disposal.
That's a good question. When I came into the state back then in 2017, there was this trend of RN mentality within
Mm,
the community, right?
mhm,
Within the African community, right? And I was almost joining that trend. I tried. So what took me off the train was my inability to secure the exam, the entrance exam. They call it TEAS exam. So
mm,
I tried first time, it didn't work,
mm,
right? I have passion for healthcare. I have passion for humanity, all of those stuff, right? So
mm,
I tried the exam once, it didn't work, and then second time I was close, but I didn't make it. So I went into the guiding counselor office and I said, "This is my situation. I am the only guy here, and I want my dream was to be a healthcare professional in any form, right?" We went over different aspects. Since I'm the only guy in the state from my family, I started asking myself, will I be able to even do the nursing, right? Because the nursing program here is very tedious. You have to be on top of your game in order to pass through this process. So
Yeah.
we discussed all of those things and the ability to pay for my classes, all of those things.
Mm.
And I look at my age too, and I'm like, maybe it will be a tough thing for me to do if I don't even work at all. My family depends on me in Africa, in Cameroon, right? So I look at IT. I have a very terrible story about my IT knowledge before I traveled to the state. I have limited knowledge in IT. I was just able to turn on a computer. Apart from that, there was nothing more I could do. So I decided to talk with the counselor. We pick up some couple of courses, and IT came up on top. So I said, let me give it a go, right? I took that upon myself that I'm going to do it. And then I started the first semester, it was tough. Second semester, I had issues with the professor. I had to change college and move to another college. In fact, it was crazy, but now I don't regret doing it. But I will say that what really inspired me is to get into IT was because I had to pick up something, and it was the only thing I could do at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll end it at that, and I'll say that if I'm
Yeah.
able to do it, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like anybody can do it. Just like nursing, a lot of
Yeah.
people from the art background when they travel to the state, they do
Mm-hmm.
nursing and they succeed very well. So anything that you set your eyes on, you can do it. So when I started IT, I said to myself, this is the one bus stop that I have, right? I have a family back home. I need to be very focused and I don't have to change anything. So
Mm-hmm.
when it was tough, I changed school. And when some classes were getting difficult with the professor, I start taking classes in another school just to make sure that I compensate for that credit. So I graduated in one school, but I took courses in like four schools,
Mm-hmm.
right? So sometimes when I apply for my university degree, they ask me to send my transcript. My transcript have to come from different colleges. So what the only story or the lesson to learn from this is that when you set your eyes on something,
Mm-hmm.
you can get it done. No matter the obstacles, I still try to find my way out to
Mm-hmm.
be successful in that journey. So let me
Awesome.
keep it that.
Thanks, man. I love your emotional intelligence. You seem like a very proactive guy. You cannot screw up easily. All right, STA, I'm excited that Blair actually picked up the nursing. So you drop it and then she picked it up. So and she's flying with it. So, what motivated you, despite the IT, and so many other options, you decided to fall in love with the nursing part of it? Was it because of the money in it, or is it because of your passion? Blair, can you hear me, Blessing?
Yes, oh, okay. Sorry, I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Rennes
I'm,
want to storm down this show tonight.
I'm, I'm then lost in your story though. Okay,
Okay.
like that's a good question. I know, like for me, I completely have a different pathway, and I think that it's first. I was in medical school for 3 years. I wanted to be a medical doctor from, after high school. I went to medical school, 3 years of medical school. We all understand what happened in Cameroon, and then my school was closed. And then I'm like, the next thing is, what can I do? What can I do? I think nursing in Cameroon is not a well paid field, but one orientation I asked myself was like, not just going to the university. Yes, it's not well paid, but
Mhm,
it's a profession that has opportunities.
mhm,
So it's one of the things that led me to making that decision, because first I'm like, if I go to Boya, I'm going to do biomedical sciences, not biomedical sciences, sorry, yes, biomedical sciences or something. True, teaching is not my thing, but I just feel like my real orientation, which I also feel like people should look at it, where we come from, we're not so much. Passion is a good thing to follow,
Yeah.
but sometimes you want to study something that can be helpful to you. And maybe in the course of helping, you can then enter passion, if you understand what I mean. Like if you
Yeah.
like music, music is your passion.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not saying musicians in Cameroon don't have money, but it takes a lot of time to build that. So
Mhm.
if you're like, oh, I can enter medicine and be a medical doctor now, you can be a musician while you're a medical doctor, just to say
Yeah.
that you can use money to make that. So I feel that's the decision that made me to become a nurse, which I don't regret it, because immediately I left school, yeah, I had a job. Of course, it wasn't something too much. It wasn't too much money, but I think that it was a foundation to as to how my career started and how I ended up having very good jobs and having to work with NGOs. I think at the beginning it wasn't the case. So I'm encouraging people orientation, which is something that we had lost, because I think that I had two things I was battling with. My father is like, you go do nursing because it's the closest thing to the medicine you've always wanted. And my mom is like, you go to Boyanga and do biomedical sciences or something. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, I think that orientation it's very important, because just like he said, you could be battling and finding it difficult just because you didn't have a good background of your orientation on the career path that you want to take.
Mhm.
And it's the same reason when I came to Canada, I would have thought of going back to medical school, but I'm like, okay, nursing is still a profession where the opportunities are very high. Now, I was like, hey, I want to do anesthesia when I'm done, like
Mhm.
in 2 years in Canada. But when I look at it, I'm like, hey, the availability of anesthetic schools, they
Yeah.
don't really have, so the competition is very high. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do with what is there. So your orientation and your career pathway, know that there are going to be challenges,
Mhm.
but make sure that if you don't, the good thing now it's that actually people who do orientation, it doesn't have to be family. If you feel like you're confused, just like he said, he had to sit down and talk with people. Have that opportunity to talk with a mentor if you have, so you don't regret going to school all your life and not even knowing what to do with the degrees that
Yeah.
you've achieved. So that's how I'm still down the line of a nurse still.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Like that's really exciting. So looking at the story of Rene Descartes, Rene, I don't know how did you get that name? Like that's like the French philosopher was studying philosophy somewhere in middle school. So Rene, let's not get to the name right now. Okay. You left Cameroon. This is you in America. You wanted to study, do your college, graduate, work, but back in the mind, you were like, I have a family back at home looking up to me, blah blah blah. I have to do this. I have to do this. And that is the story to every foreigner, every African American here. They're like, how can I help my sibling? How can I help my parent? How can I do this? How can I send money back? How can I be there? How can I? But again, you're very strategic on the choice of the course that you had to pick, the college and all of that. And despite the hurdles you had with your professor in college, you were like, this cannot be the end of my life, my studies, my career. Despite the hurdles here, I'm gonna seek an alternative strategy to make sure I achieve my goal despite every hurdle. And again, you switch school and then you eventually graduated. What do you think is the importance of this is a message I wanted to talk to African people who left Africa. They're in foreign countries, including America as Canada and United States, and then Europe and Asia. What is the message you have to them listening to us right now, and those who are still in Africa? Maybe they have plans or hopes to travel around the world. What message do you have about the importance of not giving up, perseverance, despite the challenges we face in pursuing our dream, but staying focused, developing grit to do it? Why is it important? Why should we not just do what the 9 to 5 that way that gives us at least show money, and we forget about the dreams we came with to this country's place?
Oh, I would say that every environment poses a different challenge, right?
Mm-hmm,
And we as Black African American, right, or whatever, foreigners in a different land, there's a lot of challenges that we face. First thing first,
mm-hmm.
I don't want to sound terrible, but first thing
Yeah,
first, the color
please
of
don't sound terrible.
our skin is already a hindrance to certain things, right? That's for sure. No
Yeah,
matter how we pretend. Second thing, we already have a language barrier. Right up to now, my accent is not actually clearer for people in the other race, right? Sometimes when I speak, they still ask me. So there are a lot of challenges, right? First thing, I said the way we look and the way we speak, that's already a challenge. When we
Yeah.
talk about the natural challenges, right? The one we have no effect on, the weather, all of these things, they add to the different challenges that we already have. So as a young graduate traveling out of Cameroon, looking forward to take care of your family, your career, the only thing you need to do is ask yourself, why? What is the why? What is the reason why you want to get it so much? Right? What is your motivation? Because it is this motivation that is going to fuel you around. It is going to fuel your day-to-day activities, your decision making, right? Your choices of the world, your choices of the things that you do, right? So the only thing I would say is define that
Mhm.
upfront. When I was taking off from Yaoundé, I said to myself, this is a journey that I'm taking for my family. This
Mm.
is not for myself. This is for
Mm.
my family. I am going for a battle to save my family from a very terrible situation,
Mm.
right? And that is the foil throughout, right up to now. That's what is burning in my heart. Like I have
Mm.
to continue to do something to change the situation of my family. Once you have that why, right, you set that up. There's nothing that will stop you. When you go to school, you start facing challenges. You say like, "Oh, I can bounce back to healthcare and do the little I can do and help my family." But when you have that why, you know that health. I mean, when I talk about healthcare, I'm talking about the care jobs, the basic ones, not the nursing ones, right? The nursing is advanced. When I talk about the care one, I'm talking about the warehouse jobs, the small healthcare aid jobs. Those things, you would think that it's an alternative. It's not an alternative if you have a huge why, which is your motivation. So if you want to travel out or you want to study out, define that upfront. Once you define that, it's going to motivate you. But if you easily give up because you don't have the motivation, you don't have the why, you will easily give up. They'll frustrate you. There's a lot of frustration here, even in the tech industry.
Yeah.
It is evolving every single day. The challenges are a lot. Today you hear about AI, different platforms.
Mhm.
Security is being automated. Everything is being automated. You see, the challenges are a lot, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be flexible and understand why. Your why should be the reason why you are doing it. Look at
Mhm.
how IT is moving up. A lot of people are out of the jobs because they did not get themselves the why. If you
Mhm.
have the why, you begin to look around and see, hey, there's a lot going on. I have to switch. I started as I started my career as a cyber security and network administration.
Yeah.
Today I'm into DevSecOps, cloud security,
Mm.
right? I never heard of those stuff when I was in college. We talk of cloud computing back in college when we were just defining what is cloud computing, what is cloud storage, but we never really get into deep into cloud computing. But now I work in environment where they are purely cloud systems. We don't have no mainframes or on premises applications or data centers. Right. The time I was doing my internship, we went to a data center here around a Google data center here around my state.
Mhm.
But now most of these data centers are migrating into the cloud. So you have to define your why that motivates you. You keep your motivation, and then get very flexible with your life. So that's what I would say that define that, and that should be your foil. So I want to keep it short.
Mm.
Thank you.
I love that, bro. I love that. Some Americans friends they tell me that from their personal experience, most African Americans or the immigrants, let put it that way, they are like 2 to 3 times more hardworking than the people they have ever known, average people. And they are simple, they don't complicate, and they get things done. They don't complain. So,
Hmm.
so, and I think that is very true because we know where we're coming from. We know the background, and we know. Somebody make a comment that every family has that one individual. I think it was what's her name again? One of the people watching live. Every family has that one person that changed the story of the family. And in this day, when we hear that somebody is going to America, we know that that family story is changed forever and ever.
But
So
it's not true to every situation, though.
Exactly.
So
And
true.
that's why when you come to America from your family, whichever family you are living from in Africa, with that high expectations, most of the time, the least mess up, it can cause chaos. And your parents can even commit suicide, depression, anxiety. And it causes children in America to be so hardworking, diligent, and to watch the communities, to watch who they mingle with, where they go, and all of that. But again, it can also cause them a lot of stress trying to set up in America, pay your bills, and still support communities and families and siblings. Some pay school fees, from some go beyond their own family by sponsoring
Of
kids
course,
and doing
of
stuff.
course.
And some of you guys do that. So how do you balance your life in America and your life back at home, helping your siblings and building and supporting the communities that you left back at home? And they have so much hope and high expectations from you while in America, to the extent that even if they kick you out of your apartment because you're unable to pay, they don't know, but they still expect you to deliver. So no excuses. How do you balance that to be healthy here and then also doing what you're doing as they expect back at home? Let me go with Renee. He just ended, and then go to Blessing.
All right. Let me say this. When you travel, the pressure is too much. I have to cut certain ties with certain family members in order to get to my dream, right? It's not a bad thing
Yeah.
to do that, but it will sound funny that you say, oh, you're keeping somebody aside. There's a lot of pressure when you travel, especially when you're very young.
Yeah.
Environmental pressure, peer pressure, family pressure. So, like I said earlier in my previous comment, right? If you have the motivation, you have the why, you stick to your motivation, right? I was in college. Why I have like 10 students, man. My siblings, I have a lot of them. I have cousins that I have in college, some in St. Louis. I used to have a student in St. Louis, St. Florence, Nashtiga, teacher training college, all of those things together. The only thing is that once you try to put all of this pressure on yourself, it becomes so much. But
Mm-hmm.
at some point, I just sat down and said, this is the one that I'm able to deal with. This is the one I'm not able to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I always advise people who just travel because I made this mistake of giving people the impression that everything is smooth.
Mm-hmm.
When I started college, I have to drop down my hours of work, right? So when I dropped down my hours of work, I was just sustaining. I was just surviving. There were moments I couldn't even fuel my car. I have to call a friend. Hey, when I get at the gas station, I call my friend. Hey, can you send me $30 so I can fuel my car? There were
Mm-hmm.
moments where my tire will be down and I have to use the spare tire. The spare tire, the little one that you have at the back of your car. So
Yeah.
things like that, that the people in Cameroon, they don't really get to understand.
Yeah.
But when you explain it to them, they don't even really want to hear because the main thing is to have what they need. So sometimes it's just to sit down and talk to the people that you have and tell them your situation and try to get to your goals. If not, you'll get distracted and over pressure with a lot of requests. Like every day, people have problems. But if you are not there, people will still survive, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
main thing is to be able to work on yourself, be a better person so that even if they drop down, they drop back, your success would bring them back. That I believe that success is automatically attracted to people are automatically attracted to success, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I drop you 2 years ago and I become very successful now, you have sometimes I feel like you just don't have anything to do just to, humble yourself and
Mm-hmm.
come and lick the honey, right?
Yeah.
Unless you just want to stay around and complain. But if you understand why you coming to somebody, right? Think about it. Why did
Yeah.
this guy drop me in the first place? And come closer. There are some people that are still mad, like I said something 2 years ago, but who cares? If I still have the value to give back to where I was lacking, where is the problem? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I tell people who just travel, like I have junior ones who just came in 2 years ago, don't start to sponsor somebody if you know that you won't be able to push the person to where the person is going.
Mm-hmm.
Because leaving the person halfway is just as if you never started.
Yeah.
So those are some of the mistakes that I did. I put a lot of people in college, and all of a sudden I was telling them that, hey, I won't be able to push on this year and the other year because I'm struggling to finish my university or whatever. They don't want to hear that stuff.
Yeah.
You have already started. They feel like you have to do it to the end. So sometimes I tell people just take the load according to yourself, be disciplined with your income and things like that. So
I
that's
love,
uh, that's what I would say.
I love that. And Blair will also have to answer this question. So how do you know the people you have to focus on and the people you don't have to focus on? How do you prioritize yourself in this context?
Yeah. I know that it's actually a tough question when it comes to family, just because I mean family is a thing that everybody has, but I live with the principle in life like yourself first. You can't take care of people if you
Hmm.
cannot take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And so if you sit down, you plan like, okay, where I am now, this is what I have, this is what I can do for myself, and this is what I can do extra. Then you can do the extra. And at this time, you decide how you want to do the extra. It's your money, it's your time, it's everything. So you decide. And when we actually travel, I used to say that if even me before coming here, I wish I had somebody that or I had podcasts where I can listen to. You can come here because of orientation that people have. And I want to go back to what he said. Every environment has their own problems,
Hmm.
but every individual has their own challenges. There are people who have come to Bush and have succeeded from day one. There are people who have made 10 years in Canada or in America or in Europe and they have nothing to show for.
Hmm.
So your circle of people, your network of people can either fix your life or ruin your life. Going back to the family as in who to support, you know where you're coming from. One thing I would say for sure is if you're coming from a family, because there are people who have come from bush, they were not suffering in Cameroon or their families were not struggling. So of course they don't have the same problem with somebody coming from a family where you're probably like a breadwinner, right?
Hmm.
Therefore, if you're a first child, for my case, I am a first child. I
Oh.
definitely know that I have responsibilities, which are my direct siblings. I am not going to carry the entire family and put it on my head. I know that the people behind me, I will do something. Not saying that I'm not taking care of the entire family. I cannot carry my whole family on my head. But I know for sure it's not an obligation. Remember, the obligation over kids is the parents. But it takes a responsible child to know what to do, to take care of your parents, take care of your siblings, and what. So you make that decision based on you. And I feel like if you explain to every parent what is happening, they might not understand, especially those that have never been there. There's some parents who have been to America and all over, they understand how it is. They don't even put pressure on those people. But there's some who have never, so all they know it's bread and honey once you cross the ocean.
Yeah.
So if you don't make them understand, that's it. Like he said, you could cut ties. But again, I won't even say I don't have to cut ties. You will definitely cut ties with me because I won't give you what I don't have. If you
Hmm.
say I should do like this and I have, I will do it. If I don't have, I will tell you I don't have. Like I cannot kill myself, right? But again, your focus should be yourself because in these same 10 years, you have nothing. If you come here, you're probably just roaming around and picking $10, $5 here, this. In 10 years, you have nothing to show about, and that family will still be suffering. Is it better for you to come, set a goal, say, okay, in 3 years, this is what I want to become?
Hmm.
In 3 years, you have a lot to help. But in 10 years, you will be sending $10, $100 back home. And in the next 20 years, you don't even have where to stay, even if you go back home. It's not a story that people who have been in America for more than 30 years, 20 years, they have no home back home. They don't have any assets. Back here, they have no assets.
Hmm.
But it's not to say that they're not taking care of their families. They forgot about themselves. But
Hmm.
these same family members will be like, hey, I sent my child. What's happening? People are building. They forget to know that the child spent the whole time taking care of a family. So for me, yourself first, your goals, your plan how you want your life to be. And anything extra, I'm not saying be irresponsible. You definitely know what you're supposed to do.
Hmm.
Do it if you can. You cannot kill yourself if you cannot do it. And remember, no pressure from anybody. Like I said, environmental things, just like he said, black skin is already like it's But to me, I honestly don't believe in that. I feel like when people go somewhere that is new, try to study the environment, try to understand how the people are. I think that, like here, yes, of course, there's racism. There's some jobs here that if you go to school and do it because of the nature of racism, there's a possibility that you'll not get a job, but they're very high paying profession. So why go into it and then start facing racism? Or even the nursing, there's still racism, but the thing is, so many people have succeeded in it. So why don't you want to do something that your there's an obvious success? Why do you want to go do something that you will be struggling with it? Because like the Cameroonians who have studied and studied, I've met them. They're
Mhm.
on their third degree. The first one did not work, second one and the third one. But again, it's just going back to orientation, your motivation, your goal. What do you want? Did
Mhm.
you meet the right people? And as I said, you don't need, sometimes in the Western world, you don't even need to meet another Cameroonian. Of course, if I'm a Cameroonian with a good story, it helps. But there are social services where you can actually go up like, hey, I'm suffering my orientation, career orientation. What can I do?
Mhm.
Listen to people. Don't just do it because hey, you're so excited, like, oh, everybody's doing it, because you probably will not succeed because everybody is doing it. But everybody might be doing it, but you need a different way and pressure and stuff like that, and that's it. So
Mm.
I honestly feel like yourself first, your
Yeah.
plan, how you want your life to be in the next 3 years, in the next
Mhm.
5 years. It might not be exactly the way it might turn out, but one thing for sure is you're going to be closer to your goal once you know exactly what you want to achieve.
Mm.
But yeah, that's what I think.
Oh, that's beautiful. Before I get to Renee,
Yep.
there are a lot of people here in America, in Europe, in Asia, in the space, in the moon, in Mars, that they do a lot to contribute to people back home, families, and maybe something or another happened, and they happen to go back. Maybe they focus so much on them rather than, you know, and those very people that you fought so hard to give them everything that they wanted, again, they don't really consider you. I saw a comment, somebody said that at times when you're down, nobody really cares. They care only when you're up. And you're like, what happened? If I knew, you start making like some people make like they took the money and played TSA with it. So you start making like this. If I knew, I could have focused on myself first. So I also want us to talk to those abroad, and they have large families back at home, as people also living abroad. What do you have to say? It is insane for somebody to stay 5 years, 10 years, 20 years in America, in Europe, in Asia, and go back home without really something to show off for. And they will not even see you like, that kind of respect. They will not give you, they will see you as very stupid. Like, how could you do that? But there are people who genuinely do that because of the love they have for the family. They have sponsored everybody to university. They have sponsored people bought houses, but themselves they don't have. There are people like that with that kind of emotions. What do you have? What message do you guys have right now to give to those people on how to survive abroad and at the same time have a sustainability plan back at home?
I should. Okay, I'll go first. All right. So, for me, sorry, I have a bad voice though. So, for me, it's still going back to the same thing. Know who you are and what you want. I used to tell people like, do not do things because you want to please people. Like I said, if you genuinely decide like, oh, you want to just take care of your family and don't have it, then you're a sacrificial lamb. I guess you're Jesus. That way you want to die for your family. I mean, for that kind of person, the person will not regret. You understand what I mean? Because that's a conscious decision, but don't feel like you were used. That's where the problem becomes. So if you feel like you really want to, then you have to take care of yourself. Like I said, like anybody who is ambitious know that okay, this is what I want. This is the kind of life I want to build for myself. And of course, you wouldn't forget your family, but you wouldn't forget about yourself. But
Mhm.
there are some people that have decided that, okay, I want to be a sacrificial lamb and I'm very happy with it. Therefore, even when you go back home and people are not happy with you, you will still be happy with yourself, right? Because you were not doing it expecting that they should come back and kneel down in front of you or whatever, or when you're down or up. But if you are doing it because I know people, that's how life is. That's how the human being is, very complicated. You cannot please people, so please yourself. If all
Mm-hmm.
those things were to please yourself, you won't have regrets. But if those things, because people have sponsored their children, we're even talking about you sponsoring family. Parents have sponsored kids, and the kids have turned their back on the parents.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that the thing that makes some of the parents to move is you had an obligation over your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to say, imagine you send a child to boy and the child goes every month, you send pocket money, you send fees, and the child is not going to school.
Yeah.
When in 3 years, when that child doesn't graduate, their
Mm-hmm.
parents feel bad, but they will not be too hurt because they did what they could do as a parent. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's a difference for a parent who sent a child and wasn't paying fees and wasn't doing. You'll be like, hey, I sent my child to that extent. So you can only do what you can do, but then people will only be who they are. You can't change a human being from thinking or behaving in a certain way, but make sure that everything that you're doing is because you have decided to do it and you're ready for the consequences. It's like making a decision and knowing that the consequences are not going to be good. So you face the consequences, right? So for
Mm-hmm.
someone who doesn't have anything back home, the consequences are like, oh, they're looking down at you. So if you feel like, oh, I want to be a big man, then build a big man name for yourself by acquiring properties and doing something that it will keep you going. But if you decide to just be sending money home, okay, money they spend it. So as they spend, they forget the sender until you send money again. Some of them even remember you only when they need that money. They'll probably come and say hi. Then 3 days after, then please can you send me money? That is it. If you understand how people are, and of course, it said silence means everything is fine. So when they're writing, you know there's a problem. As simple as that. That's life. So you have, you give, you don't have, you cannot give what you don't have. So I really encourage people to work on themselves. Know that you can help people, but know that you have to help yourself first. Get
Mm-hmm.
goals for yourself, get motivated, have a reason why you should live for yourself, not for people. But again, I'm emphasizing, I'm not saying don't take care of your family, but you have to take care of yourself.
I love that. Thank you so much. Before Renee says something, and good enough, my co-host is there, the only John Etta in the building. So, guys, so I used to tell, like, I'm happy that my family people don't put pressure on me, and nobody should ever do that because I I traveled to the US. I paid my flight ticket myself. I borrowed money from my friends. Nobody came to accompany me in the airport. I went to the airport alone. I came to the US. I did not tell my father, my mother,
Oh my
only to my wife. So 3 years, three months later, nobody, my family never knew I was in America. So they
God.
discovered from friends, from Facebook, and I didn't want to tell anybody. So because I had to just figure out how I do my stuff. Then, so like since you did not pay my flight ticket, you did not contribute in any way. So if I do anything for you, just say thank you, Oliver. Don't expect anything from me. That's my kind of philosophy, right? Nobody expect anything from me because yeah, I choose like who I give stuff to. You don't have any obligations to know that because you're this or that. I have to give you stuff. I don't owe you any money, and you should not expect anything from me. If I choose, if I'm led to do that, I'm gonna do that. So I don't know your experiences. You know, I've never had opportunity people come and accompany me in the airport when I'm traveling anywhere. Like it's crazy. But again, some people have the privilege to have people who funded their trip abroad, paying the flight ticket and stuff like that. So, Renee, what is
Yes.
your take on how to balance your emotions, your motivations, and do all the checks and balances in helping back at home and balancing your life here to have a stand?
Yeah, like Miss Blessing said, right? We have we have this general misconception that when you enter a plane and fly out of the country, you're automatically successful. It's a false, like it's a big lie, right? There's this family excitement when you travel. There's this feeling that oh, you have made it in life. It's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Making it in life out of Cameroon is even more difficult than making it in Cameroon. Sometimes I feel that way, but maybe people will disagree. The challenges here are tough, and once you start making it in here, right? Being that you have already checked you have already ticked the other motivations and all these things.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is to look at where you are coming from and think about what kind of investment you want to do Are you someone who is family oriented, who wants to invest more on your family, or you're somebody who just a property kind of oriented person? I want to be the top guy, my
Mhm.
family. Like I told you earlier, my motivation is different from a lot of people. When I travel, my main reason or my main goal was to make sure that my family lives a better life. That's the first thing. My
Mhm.
mom, when I talk about my family, I'm talking about my mom, my dad, and my
I love
siblings.
the
Yeah,
order.
and other ones are coming as a
That.
plus, right? So when I have that motivation, my first checks that make sense is to make sure that they have a good house to live, they have a good income to spend on daily expenditures, and then I think about in my family who is the next guy, right? I don't want to be the only guy on top. Who
Yeah.
is the next guy that can join me so that we can build together, right? So I start to define those things, and I think about my elder brother is teaching in Cameroon. Does he make money? No. So I said, okay, I have to do my best. My part. I don't want to share the secret here for what I did for him to get here because some of them are sensitive.
Mhm.
I did my best to get him come. Then we started to strategize on who is next guy.
Mhm.
Okay, that's our focus because for me, I'm not worried about. I want to set an apartment in Cameroon so people see me online as an Ondogu guy, right? But if you know me personally, you know that I have hotels, businesses, and whatever in human form. Okay,
Mhm.
so there are different kind of people who value different kind of investment. To me, if you go to my village and ask about me or about my family,
Mhm.
people will give you a different impression about me. Not talking to refer to businesses or articles or things that will say I have properties, I have that, but people will tell you that he's a guy, he's the right guy, who have done this, who have done that. But you will not hear about apartment and all of those stuff. So when you have this family oriented mindset, your
Mhm.
strive is different, right? You are not carried away by the external factors of the environment. Who is my neighbor to even worry about how I feel about myself? Right? Some people feel like if you post a car or post a property, people think you are rich. But
Yeah.
I believe that riches and success are defined in the way you set it for yourself. Right? So I never have that pressure of trying to prove that if I come back home, I'll be fine. Of course, the, there are a couple of times that now if I travel to, I can pay my flight and go to Cameroon now without any dollar in my account. But just three or two phone calls, I am fine. So I believe in that kind of investment, but not really being pressured to do it, but doing it because you see that it's the right path to do it.
Now you said
But
something, Renee. That's I wanted to expand further. You
okay,
believe in selling before you sell. What do you mean by that?
say that again. Sorry.
You believe in you have to sell before you sell. You made a statement like that. Can you explain more?
Yeah, when I said I can't really hear you though, but I don't know why.
You believe in selling before you sell. Can you explain more?
Yeah, of course. When you say right, you already give people what you are capable of, right? And when you give people that notion, that impression that this is what you are capable of doing, right? The moment you want to sell, you don't need to advertise.
Oh yeah, I get
You
you.
don't need to. Like for me, right? I feel like the pressure from back home, it depends on how you live your life. I've
Mhm.
never felt pressure. I have some couple of extended family members who felt that I should have already been owning businesses and all of those stuff. But I have businesses in different forms, in human forms. So that's just what I'm saying, that when Miss Blessing said that if you define your goal, you know how to prioritize yourself. If I go to Cameroon now, people will ask me, you have been in the state for 7, 8 years, 9 years. What have you achieved? But from a personal perspective, I've achieved so much. But
Mhm.
from an environmental perspective, physical perspective, people will feel like I'm nobody.
Yeah,
So the pressure is on how you define the path that you want to take.
I
My
love that.
goal out here was never to be, rich on the internet,
Mhm.
but to be rich within my cycle, within my family. If you
Mhm.
know me personally, you know that I won't even mention anything. You will only know that I have a certain pedigree of mentality or the kind of idea that I want to build.
Mhm.
So like I said, there are certain pressure external that are not even very important. Cousins, aunties, all of those stuff. When you believe on what you want to achieve for your family, for yourself, I always say you want to set yourself up first. But the family where I come from,
Mhm.
I don't want to set myself up first. I want to set my family up first because it's not always about me. If I am nowhere to be found today, or if I die today, I know that my family is still going to survive. So I still believe that I cannot survive alone, right? And if I don't build a legacy or a certain framework where my family can continue to grow in that direction, I've done nothing.
Mhm.
So I don't feel pressure about, oh, this guy have not built in Cameroon, you have not built a house there. I don't care.
Mhm.
I build a family.
I
That's
love
me. So
this is very important, right? For every system to succeed, there should be strategic thinking, tactful thinking, and a blueprint, a game plan on how to get things done. And you were just like, let me help, let me help, let me help, let me help, without having a helping plan, helping strategy, a plan. You will always run out of energy and budget and
Exactly.
resources.
Yeah.
And what Renee is also talking about is so powerful. So I believe that is definitely, we would love to hear also from Blessing. But then let's look at it this way. Okay, you came in, there was a lot you got to do, and you decided to ask yourself, who else, who else is available and is ready to be coachable, to go through the process, so that instead of me suffocating alone, we will be two of us and the body will be less on me. And there, Big Bro came on, you work with him and you guys are doing amazing great right now together, and you can reach out to more people and have less strength
That's
and
it.
less
Yeah.
stress. That's really amazing. So that is sustainability happening in a very sustainable way.
Exactly.
And I hope the guys abroad that are listening to this, they should be also learning, asking themselves, who can I hold a hand? I bet you it's not every hand you must hold, right? So now the question I'm asking you guys is, how do you know the right person that you can partner with, collaborate with, work with you? Because some people can be very, very, they might not meet up the conditions that you believe that this is the right mindset of the kind of people I'm looking for to work with me so we can grow this family together. What should you look for in a person in the family that you want to collaborate with to actually change the story of the family? Okay, let's start with Blessing. Yes, Blessing, over to you.
Uh, that's a tough question,
Right.
honestly, because for me, I look at human beings to be really people that you can never really understand. Especially if you look at your siblings, sometimes you can be like, but then what adulthood does is you learn people every single day, plus your siblings, plus everybody. And so, like, it's I'll say it can be hard to just say, because my sibling, I'll be like, hey, you come over because I know you're like this, and then your sibling comes in and you're like, wow, is this a sibling that I had? So I just feel like if you guys decide like you want to help, of course there are people that are very pushful. There's some that will probably be playing, but then when adulthood comes, they become really more responsible. Then those who used to be responsible becoming like it's really hard to tell how the human being will behave. The same way, like you said, you send money for investment back home and then you go and reach and you don't see the thing. You could not have imagined. So personally for me, I feel like if we set up a plan, if you're there and you want to help your family, of course whoever you choose, like the things that you can control, you work with the things you can control, the things you cannot control. Because if you bring the guy over to America, and then every now and then he doesn't have money, every now and then he cannot support any, what will you do? You send him back to Cameroon? No. So every decision that you take, just know that it could be positive consequences, it could not be. And
Mhm,
so if you have set the goal like you want to help your family, you
mhm,
don't have to give up. If you bring A based on whatever criteria you use and it doesn't work, go to B. At least one person will work, if that's what you want for yourself. If not, you can look for another strategy to help the family without necessarily bringing stress upon yourself by bringing people that might not collaborate with you or
mhm,
something. But again, I just want to really emphasize, like, when you're doing whatever thing you're doing, just think of what's the worst thing that can happen to me. The worst thing could be losing that money and the thing not working.
mhm.
Will it kill you? No. and so then you look for the next strategy. Family, I just feel like if you want to help family do sustainable things,
Yeah.
people will be different. The way he wants to bring people over is
Mm-hmm.
the same way somebody could decide, like, hey, I'm going to set up a big business back home to
Mm-hmm.
sustain sending other people, using that money to send people to school and stuff like that, without necessarily getting any income out of America. Because some people have done that, where you just establish businesses back home, and
Mm-hmm.
any emergency back home, you're able to cater with, without necessarily looking at, hey, they call you today, can you give me some dollars, let me send to Cameroon. So it's totally really it depends on every individual and how the person wants to manage. I know some people, we talk about a lot of goals and motivation, but some people do have goals, but they don't know how to sustain them. And that's where you can have like a mentor or something, like, okay, I
Yeah. A
planned
coach.
this for the year. I have seen people who probably just get up, like, I have a friend, and then the friend gets up like, I'm going to buy a house tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, I will say that decisions that you take without thinking have a lot of consequences. It could be positive, it could be negative, in the sense that if I take a decision overnight and I execute it the next day in the morning, trust me, you'll just realize that that house that you just bought, right? In 2 weeks, you're probably going to see a cheaper, bigger house, just because you did not take your time, like, okay, next year I'm going to buy a house, or in the next 3 months. And then you've also defined the kind of thing that you're expecting for the house. Every decision that you make, the goals and what you set for. And I feel like, give time. If you
Mm-hmm.
have something to accomplish, give it time. Think of all possible things that could happen with that decision that you're about to take,
Mm-hmm.
irrespective of whatever thing that you're doing, whether it's for family, whether it's for yourself, because everything comes with consequences.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for me to say that I will go because, oh, this guy has been a good guy. I can't really say that, because, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
people will behave in a certain way when they are big, when they are adults. Some will be really that kind of person you want. Some you'll be wanting, like, is this a sibling I knew when I was growing up? So you don't want those things to surprise you. You just want to make a decision, like, at this moment, this is the best decision I can make. But remember, when the consequences come, you say, okay, I mean, it's a loss on my side. But if it's a plus, I mean, we all get to celebrate. But if not, we move. What is the next strategy I can put in? Do I want to get another family and see whether so life is more like a trial and error, because people will disappoint you and it's all expected. But just make sure that you don't put your mind in that situation where you're always expecting people to do things in a particular way because you want it that way, because that's not how it's going to be. The way you have your opinion is the same way another person, and that person is standing there knowing that it's the best opinion that is existing in the world. How do you deal with that kind of thing? A thief will tell you that I'm like, stealing is a good thing, it's a job, and the person can convince you why I should steal. You know what I mean? So that kind of person, how do you change the mentality? So just set your goals, set the things you want that will make you happy,
Mm-hmm.
make the decisions, choose whoever you want to choose, but be ready for the consequences if you do not make good findings and good what. But again, people change is the only constant thing in life, as in people are constantly changing.
Mm-hmm.
So you never get to really know somebody till.
Mm-hmm.
But if you focus on yourself, it means you understand yourself, you understand the kind of things you can take, the kind of things you can go through. And so you will also take risk that you can bear consequences to it. It's like investing money and losing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing. So it could be any form. It could be property, it could be family, it could be anything.
Okay.
Disappointment from everywhere. So
Wonderful. Blair, that's really cool, man. Before I get to Renee, there is this thing I always say, patterns. Oprah said, and I quote, if somebody shows you who he is or who she is for the first time, believe them. Because, because that is who they are. So it's a crazy philosophy, but at times I walk by it. So if you tell me the first time, if I trust you the first time you are dishonest, that's a deal done.
yeah.
Like that is it. I will never trust you like almost. And so Renee, what is your framework? Okay, you seem to have a lot of frameworks too. What is your model of sustainable development, right? A little bit
Um,
like, how do you balance it just from coming in from what Blessing just said? What is your take on who to write? How do you I know some people can even go beyond their blood brothers and sisters, right? They can pick somebody that's not even related, but it has a capacity to deliver, right? So at
Mhm.
times it becomes very complicated to know who is the right person to. So what is your own secret of picking the right person?
It
Really?
seems you are giving us questions and answering them yourself. But let me tell you something.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel when we talk about investing in human or investing in your family, a lot of people fail to understand that family, to me, is not necessarily by blood.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have my own mentality when it comes to syncing up mentally, psychologically, and socially. My cycle, I consider them a family. Okay.
Uh-huh.
We know family by biology, family by whatever, but to me, family is the people that align with my vision
Yeah, you get
and
that.
my
I
goals in
know.
life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have people in my family, out of my family, who have been able to benefit like a 1 million franc from me. I'm
Yeah.
talking about me who never had a single pen from somebody from college, but I
Yeah.
have people who have benefited 1,500,000 because I align with their vision. So, like I said, let me answer your question straight away without twisting anything. Every family have an orientation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you can have a different orientation. I have a different orientation.
Okay. Welcome,
We
John.
have a different kind of bonding within my family
Yeah.
that I don't get to lose a certain level of trust. You know, when I call my brother and ask for money, I don't borrow money. I have a lot of people here who say if I do something to my brother, they'll come and pay me back.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I do something to myself and expect a payback? You know,
Mm-hmm.
those kind of things. So when you make some certain statement, oh, I will get you over here, you pay me back. And then when they get over here, they don't give you the respect because they're struggling to get you payback. So what is
Mm-hmm.
the difference between you and another person? So those things like that, it kind of brings some misunderstanding within the bond that we share as a family. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, my criteria is always, you know, talking with the person, studying the person over time, and taking the decision with the risk mindset, like Miss Blessing said,
Yeah.
understanding that the person can come here and turn into something else. But,
Yeah.
God willing, if you have a good orientation, your family have a good orientation. That's why I always say, as parents, we need to train our kids to love each other, to share that bond. Because if you have your brother over here, after all the struggle with your sister, you guys start fighting and, you know, exchanging word and stuff like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Every decision that I make, I can tell you this. Honestly, my elder brother is the one who came and met me here. But he's my elder brother. The fact that I've been here for 8 years doesn't mean that I've automatically been you know, added some age, right?
Respect.
Every decision that I want to make, I have to consult him. Hey, how do you see about this, man? Think about it. Let's see. Check this plan, check this house. Let's see how it looks like. Every
Mm-hmm.
single project and everything I do, every update about the project, I share with him to take a look. And when we want to see source out somebody else within the family
Mm-hmm.
to help, I have to talk with him like, hey, how about this guy? We have a cousin, we have cousin and in-laws that we have here. Before we do that, we try to sit down, think about the educational aspect of the person, the psychological mindset of the person, the
Yeah.
alignment that is the person has with the vision that we have, the plans we think about our family in the next 5 years, right? What
Mm-hmm.
impact can this person bring to us if he is here or if he owns a business under our name in
Mm-hmm.
Cameroon? So all of those things we take into consideration and make a decision. In 2023, we went into a decision of, pushing our cousin in the place of my junior sister.
Mm.
Why? Because my cousin, a guy, have a higher chance of, pushing through life and supporting his junior brothers and sisters more than the lady. What
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to sound
Yeah.
selfish, right? When a lady travel, a lady that is within puberty or out of puberty or whatever. They say, I believe in I'm not a nurse, Blessing can disagree with that. I believe that at a certain age, a woman is so distracted.
Mm-hmm.
And to put that person as the soldier of that family
Mm-hmm.
will be a little bit of risk. It'll be more risky than taking a guy. I believe
Mm-hmm.
that a guy will come and push on really fast, and get to up to speed and do more. Right? I'm not trying to sound discriminatory, but those are the kind of things that we think of. This a woman will come in, she's at the marriage limit, something like that. The pressure from the society that, oh, you don't have kids, you don't have, a guy will be around 25 and pushing up, and he doesn't even care about marriage and all of those things. But when a woman reaches a certain age, this is my own kind of thinking and my own way I do it. I think I might be wrong. I sometimes I get stuff really wrong, but that's what I think, right? So she will come in and started thinking about, hey, all the time on the phone and thinking about men. I want to settle down, all of those things. I want to give birth to my own child. And the distraction and the pressure from the community, she won't be focused. She will never be focused. So it's not like she will never be focused, but it will take her a lot of time to navigate through those different challenges. But if for a guy, will do better, faster, and quicker. So those are the little things that we take into consideration when we make decisions. But again, sometimes you take the right decisions that you think is right, but sometimes it turns out to be poor. But I've never experienced that yet. But I will say that the orientation is very important. Even if you have a project back home, you don't have the right person to lead the project, it's still going to fail. All of those things can happen. But when you have that orientation from a family, core family background, that root, I always emphasize as a parent, we have to train our kids to love and trust each other. To love and be loved. That is it. If you have that family love, you won't be fighting with your brother for, thinking of what if he run with my money. I have brothers, I have people over here, people who, they don't even talk with their siblings. Like, how do you leave that? That is because they have that background root cause. They were never loved when they were growing up. Their parents never showed them enough love, or they never share enough love within themselves. So those are the little things that really matters when people start to grow up. Some people feel like, I want to be the top. If I help this guy will come and overshadow me. Oh, if you have that family love within yourself, you won't be scared that your brother will overshadow you. A lot of these guys that I have here, some of them are doing great things. But for me, I'm just doing my low-key kind of stuff. They already have some kind of cars that I saw another one eyeing a very huge car. I was like, I'm not even thinking of this kind of car. Right? So sometimes these things like this happen. And once you are the guy to do things, you don't take every little things too serious. There's some people that I gave you money for fee, you never paid. A lot of us back home, a lot of them back home, there are cases where you give the school fee, they will not pay. It's that age. It's that age where things like that will happen. You will give money for fee, they go and see their girlfriend or something, then they spend part of it, they struggle to pay. Those things are common. And if you pass through that stage, you'll know that it's common. So you shouldn't just throw them under the bus because they make those minor mistakes. Sometimes just ignore. Sometimes I'll give money for something, they don't do it, I just ignore. I watch it. They feel like I don't watch it, but I'm taking note. The next thing, I'm like, if you fail exam or you don't do this thing next time, you're going to do it by yourself. So those kind of things, I don't want us to crucify our family because we have little misunderstanding. They don't pay the rent on time and stuff like that. So
even Mr. T is about men or woman.
So yeah, that's how we do, man. That's how we do.
I love that. John Etta, you want to say something?
Yes, guys, I'm enjoying the conversation, learning a lot already. Thank you, Renee, for all the insights that we're having. Thank you, Ntam Blessing. I mean, I've been following the conversation since I was having the ride to the office. It's so amazing. If you guys know the kind of value you guys are bringing right now to the viewers of Camerican Dream podcast, you will not believe. Like, it's so impactful. Like, what you guys are doing is that you are squeezing time frame. What would have taken someone 10, 20 years to learn, they're learning it right now. And if they get to the US or Canada or wherever, they'll be more informed in the way they do, things. So thanks very much, guys. One question I want to ask them, really, what are some of the challenges you faced when you got to the US? What I think that you knew that's how the US was, but when you got there, it was a different reality. Just share some of those things with us. Thank you.
Oh, we shared a little bit previously on other conversation. Like I said, when you travel to a new place, there's different category of travelers. I think Blessing said something close to that. There's someone who is traveling to meet his family abroad. That one is different. Then there's us who is traveling as the only person going to a land where you don't even know where you are going.
Yeah.
Right. So those there are others that are traveling to meet their husband. So the different challenges comes with different category of people. So
Okay.
when I arrived the state, I faced challenges. One thing, communication. Second thing, career orientation. Third thing, family pressure. Family pressure. So I
Yeah.
want to talk about career orientation, which is very important. In the state, people, I don't want to sound like a bad guy, but sometimes people are very self-centered, and
Mhm.
sometimes like people have different advantages, and some people have more advantages over others. And the self-centered mindset kind of people are the one who don't want to share, because you have the upper advantage. They be like, they just keep things to themselves. Most of the time, how I try to solve this is to make sure that I go out there and don't depend on somebody I already know. They know
Mhm.
my background. They know how we suffer. They feel like, oh, I don't want to be part of these guys. They want to draw away. Sometimes you call somebody you already know to give you a ride. They be like, oh, I'm not home. Those things like that. Those are some of the challenges. Movement, all of these things. So to tackle this, I decided to start building my cycle out of my cycle. You get where I'm going? So I started
Mhm.
to if I talk with someone from Nigeria, I start to build a certain kind of bond. If I talk to somebody from Rwanda, one of my IT guys from Rwanda, we started coding together in school. I make good relationship with these people because these people, they share unlimited knowledge. But the people that you are too comfortable with, they are too comfortable with your suffering. Right? So they don't care. So they're too comfortable to see you do whatever you're doing. But the people you don't know, they just share knowledge, they just share ideas without giving you any limit. So to tackle all of these challenges, I would say have a good plan of what you want to do. Though sometimes it takes 3 years out of the Cameroon. If I would say Blessing might disagree because she traveled as a registered nurse from Cameroon, right?
Yes.
You already have a career. Those of
Mhm.
us who are traveling with our advanced level, we have a bigger challenge than Blessing, because Blessing might just need to do some, you know, uh,
Yeah, few things.
certification or licensures and stuff, and then try to continue school, right? Or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but for us, we have to go to school. We have to go and start from college to university. Big
Yeah.
task. So the
Yeah.
challenges are different, but when you know where you're coming from, you know your challenges, you can sit down and talk to somebody. It must not only be you, the person you came and stay with. It can be
Yeah.
anybody. If you go to school, ask for this thing, counseling center, talk to them. If you
Okay.
have problem managing your finances, talk to them, because one of the most important things that helps shape the way I do things is my financial discipline aspect. I
Okay.
learned how to put a certain level of pressure on my income, but not too much pressure, right?
Yes.
I try to get things that I feel like my income cannot do, to put my
Mhm.
income in the way that my income should do it.
Okay.
That way, if I earn $2,000 a month, I want to make sure that I have a project that will take around 2,300. So that I
Mhm.
left with my rent and it's a small portion of the income, so that the family pressure side or external pressure doesn't even have to deal with my income,
I see.
right?
I see.
And if I have problem having liquid money in my account, I withdraw the money, keep it in my office here, cash. I don't have some here. I send everything. If I need to send it to Cameroon, I go to the bank, send it to my account, do the transaction, and leave. Your
Yeah.
problem is coming as a secondary problem. Mine is first. But I'm not
Mhm.
saying that putting myself first, I'm overshadowing the aspect that people really need my help. But sometimes, if you want to work towards something, you have to put something down in order to work toward that. So those are some of the techniques that I've been using to navigate through my
Wow.
challenges.
Wow.
I still face a lot of challenges right now, but I feel like I have the code for that. I have the secret on how I can survive in
That's
any
what we
kind.
invited you. That's what we invited you, bro. Because you're one of those that I've seen in our community, leading, you're a shining star. And I think a lot of people have a lot to learn from you. People should not think that when you get to the US, there are dollars on the floor. Just happy. It's good to come true stories like this to inspire them. So thanks very much. Blessing, please tell us. I have this critical question. I also send you the same question to when you answer. Renee is going to add to it. Now, if someone in Cameroon has the means, like let's say you have the finance to move, will you advise them? Let's say 5 million, for example. Will you advise them? This is our honest opinion, to start a business in Cameroon or to travel either to Canada or the US, for greener pastures? What's the best advice?
Okay, that's actually a hard one, because the decision to stay out of the country, home is home. That is clear. Nobody's gonna tell you like America is better than home. Home is home. But I usually will say that in my position, your motivation will tell you if that business is enough to keep you in Cameroon.
Yeah.
For me, I believe like if I have a certain
put yourself in the person's place. What would you have done?
If I have businesses in Cameroon that are giving me money, like good money, I know what I mean by good money, I won't stay in Canada. I want to be honest with myself. I will not stay in Canada. People move because it's for greener pastures. It's because we want to make money. So I feel like if I have that money in Cameroon, like I do have friends who are in Cameroon who earn like 4 million. I have a friend who came over to Canada here with a family through permanent residency. Then when he got here, the same month, he had an expert job to work in Kenya. Of course, he carried his whole family back home. So I just want to say, like, people's expectations, that people who have moved to Canada, not because they have money, they feel like their education for their family and everything, but that people who are in Cameroon who can still give that education to their kids back out of the country because they believe like it's the best for them. And so if I have money and I can give the best for my kids and still be in Cameroon, why then come to Canada? It's not a bed of roses, I will not lie. And it's not the money that people think, because there are people in Canada who earn $3,000, which is like 1.5 million in Cameroon, which technically is no money in Canada, because by the time you pay everything, you end up with like 250,000. But there are people who earn that 1 million in Cameroon and are living a comfortable life. So it's like, I feel like people leave Cameroon because they don't have a really great options, because first, even the businesses we're talking about, we don't know how they will survive. People also leave because they feel like no matter how hard it's here, there is you have that assurance, like in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, it will get better. Unlike, as opposed to maybe home, it's so difficult that somebody even starts a business, you don't know whether in 2 years it's going to be, how is it going to be? You may have gone back to square one, they could burn it, they could, like many things. So it's solely, but the main advice is, if you have money, you have a comfortable life, you feel like you can give your family a comfortable life, which I think that's what most of us are working for, to make our families get comfortable lives for ourselves, then Cameroon is a good place. But if you don't have, I will advise you to go to where you think that you can be able to give your family that best of it, which is probably going to add to the people who have been here and they're still not able to even take care of their family. So like I used to say, it's not even about bush. If you're in Cameroon and you're hardworking, you will just realize how you're already trying to go to bush, because you feel like, now I earn like this, but I want more. But if you're also in Cameroon and you're not doing anything, you will come to America and you still not do anything if you're not an ambitious person and having anything that you're looking for. Some people just leave to survive. There are people here who just also live to survive. And fortunately, out of this world, the government takes care of people who don't even have salaries. So you can probably stay on government benefits all through and nobody will ever really know. So it's really individualistic. And I will say, if I have money, I will definitely go back to Cameroon.
Maybe not 5 million francs, because the capital. So there's a framework, there's a perspective in terms of reference. So, Mr. Rene, what would you advise? Put yourself, you have 5 million francs in Cameroon. That's the capital you have struggled to have for the first time, an opportunity to have 5 million. Will you start a business in Cameroon, or will you travel overseas to America or Canada?
I believe, Mr. John, you already know the answer that I will give, right? for the benefit of the audience, I think most of them know me already. uh, I used to say we need to pass a principle across different families. Every
Yes.
family needs to have a bush faller. It's
Okay.
not about Cameroon, you'll be fine. Cameroon, I don't want to say some crazy stuff because I'm not an activist, but the environment is as crazy as you might think, but it's more than what you think. So, my principle is work hard. Every family should work hard. Find a good oriented guy. Send them to Canada or US. I don't want to talk about other area. I don't know about. I know about Canada and US. My reference. If you have the possibility that the line is 100% sure, don't do no business for 5 million in Cameroon. Gather the money and even add some, borrow some. If the line is clear, if it is 10 million, go. You are not going for yourself. Like I said, there are different motivation. And from where you come from, if you're coming from a family like mine,
Yeah.
10 million business would have not changed my family. I know what I'm saying. What you've been able to do within 1 year, I mean 6 months, 10 million is cannot do it. So all of these things saying Cameroon, you have a good job. People travel sometimes just for peace of mind because sometimes as a young guy succeeding in Cameroon, I said something like this last week. They wanted to burn me raw on Facebook. As a young guy, early success becomes very dangerous to your life. If you become very successful in Cameroon and you're loud about it, you put yourself in a more vulnerable situation. So I would say this quick answer: run.
Run, vanish. And like you said something, because frankly speaking, it took me 8 years. Okay, now if I have 10 million francs in Cameroon, I know how to make 700,000 francs every month with 10 million. 3 years ago, I did not know when to put 10 million francs to make profit. I tried the restaurant, it was catastrophic. I tried the beauty shop, it was a catastrophe. In fact, the people working there, they want to finish all the money, and you are so frustrated. And before you come, you shout at somebody, the person abandons the job. The restaurant. So you are frustrated with because your capital first of all is small. You see, so you cannot really do real structured business in Cameroon with less than 10 million. So, but it took me. There is something now. It took me 8 years to finally discover how to use some. We must have some certain level of capital to actually start producing profit. That is the money that is working for me. That's why I got into real estate. I just want to give everyone a perspective. To end to conclude that you agree, because what I noticed is that Blessing is being very kind with this question. She's being very considerate. You know, I love the way you handle it. 5 million francs is a very small amount of money to run a business in Cameroon. Okay, what will permit me make profit in Cameroon is because of the kind of connections and infrastructure I already have. So it's not actually the 5 million francs that is even making the profit. Because if you put all of that infrastructure in place and everything, maybe since even though I'm talking about 5 million francs capital, but it's standing on top of at least 150, 200 million francs. If it was just at 5 million francs, I'll tell you, is like a suicide mission. You lose the money. Guess what? Today, right? Just the light went off and it came back and the meter downstairs was burned. I came downstairs and I have to spend 250,000 francs unannounced.
5 million.
And where am I supposed to put that account anyway? Who is going to help me? Which insurance is going to give me back that money? That's how business is in Cameroon. So, if you want to invest in Cameroon and you are not a sophisticated investor, if you have 5 million francs, vanish. I agree with Rene. So, guys, last words and advice to the young people and to everyone watching us. Blessing, you start, then Rene, then we close it. Last advice, any word you have, any message for the community? Because what we are doing right here is to mobilize the voices of the Cameroonian diaspora and those back home.
Yeah, so it's just like, I mean, just to round up with this one that you said, of course, 5 million is not much money. What is 5 million? It's nothing. But of course, if you want freedom and everything, by the time you take that 5 million and come here, make some 50 million, set up businesses, you will go back and live the best of your life. That's just the truth about the reality that we are living. But my advice for anybody who is trying to travel, it's first, do not give up on your dream. If your dream is to travel, travel, because that's where you will find whatever thing you're looking for, your career pathway and everything. You will make money. But remember, hard work, it's you're not just working hard, you're working smart, because you could still work hard and don't still get to, just like he explained before.
Mhm.
Working smart means that while you're going to school, you're creating that connection with the right people. That's how you're going to get your job, whether you're in the US, whether you're in Europe, or whether you're here. That people hear that as you're finishing school, like, hey, do you want to work with Blue Water? They already know, yes, I am a nurse. But to get a job with best companies, you still, the connection is all over the place. It's not Cameroon, it's all over the world. So you want to work smart, you want to make the right connections, just like you said. Meeting wrong people can destroy your whole life and you regret why you ever came to Bush. So make sure that if you have an opportunity to meet with the right people, get the right information, and do not forget, just a short one. When I came here, I realized that I had to, like, there's a lot online, trust me. Even my assignments that they gave me in school, I don't know how to do it. I just go to Google or YouTube. The worst one is ChatGPT. Hey, please, can you? And trust me, I did a lot of things without asking anybody. So make sure you update yourself to the pressure of
Digital tools. Yeah.
digital world and stuff like that. Keep yourself informed. Listen to people podcasts sometimes. Trust me, I've listened to some even before now, not about just whites and their own career pathways and all. It's not easy anywhere if you want to make it. And put that in your mind, like if you want to make it, it's a hard way. But one thing
Yeah.
for sure, it's by the time success comes, you're going to celebrate. So be perseverant, you're resilient, your hard work, and work smart. And trust me, you're definitely not going to regret it. You're definitely going to make it, and make it in that way that you don't have to speak your success. It will speak for itself. So
Speak for
I'm
yourself.
encouraging everybody, try as
Okay.
much as possible to put as much effort to your goal, and you'll succeed.
Thank you very much. And you are a perfect example and embodiment of what you're saying. I so admire your work ethic. Mr. Rene, one last word advice to our community, both home and abroad.
Oh, let me first of all start by thanking you all for giving me the opportunity to share my ideas here. Great platform. I see the engagement online is quite huge. I would like to be
Someone said,
here, man.
excuse me, Rene. Someone said a rat in Cameroon is a rat in America. Mr. Beck.
What
Continue.
what does that even mean? See, what I'm saying is this, right? We should be doing this more often. People need
Yeah,
this kind of
definitely,
energy,
definitely.
right? So, to say my advice to everyone traveling, or everyone who is living here in the state who want to achieve something for themselves and for their family, stay focused. Know that nobody owe you anything, right?
Mhm.
Use the right resources that can help you grow, like be on the internet, watch the right things, apply social media hygiene as much as possible. You see what we're saying here? Great information. These things should be broadcasted and sold. Like we should be selling this information, but we have
Yeah.
less than 20 people watching us because we are not saying the negative stuff. We are not saying the crazy stuff. But I want to say, if for you to be the few selected, like the few people who are focused, you have to apply certain level of hygiene in your internet usage. When I use this word social media hygiene, people say, what is social media hygiene? Social media hygiene is directing your focus on the resources that can help you, that can add
Yeah.
value to your life. If I
Mm.
go and start talking about, say, somebody took money and ran away, from a deal, people will just start commenting and stuff like that. If I talk about a negative thing, people come watch it. So if you don't apply this hygiene, you go by the trend, you'll be
Mhm.
directed to the noise and you will not find any focus. So I want to advise everyone to stay financially disciplined, biologically disciplined as well, because when you travel, the pressure from the environment as a beautiful girl, your DM is floating. There's pressure in your DM as a young guy looking successful. You get pressure. There's nothing again like a girl chatting a boy. It's common now, or whatever. So you have to be disciplined with yourself and stick to your principles. Those are the things that I would say. right? We
Yeah.
can share more in the future, but I want to say, let me end here by now. For now.
Yeah, and what you said, take care of your social media hygiene is so powerful. And we're going to invite you guys over and over, because what we are building, Oliver, you will see that this is a family that we are building. Back in the days, we used to be for village. We light fire under that boma tree that we discuss for night. It's the same thing that we have brought in this new age. Or in the cat, we just meet together and we are discussing. Nowadays, we don't have that human connection again. And it's important the Cameroonian community start coming together, so we connect and share our common struggles and successes, so that we can have a story, so that we can create a narrative ourselves. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Hey,
So
before I go, I want to announce this.
yes.
For those of you who are following me, I've been looking for medical professionals in Cameroon. If you're a medical doctor, I have a facility that I've set up there in Yaoundé.
Wonderful.
If you need a job, come and apply. We need a medical doctor. We need a gynecologist. Just come and talk to us. We might find a position for you. We have a huge platform. We're ready to change the healthcare system in Cameroon. You have to start now, right? Everybody have to start. Sometimes when we complain about the country, it's because individually we are not doing our own part. I said to myself, we can condemn as we want, but what have we started doing? So if you want to work with us, I need an accountant too. So those positions are open. So
guys, medical practitioner, nurses, accountant.
No. We already have enough nurses. There are a lot of nurses. We already have enough nurses, but
too many of us.
Doctor.
So thank you all so much.
This opportunity is right there in Yaoundé. René Descartes has created a powerful facility in Yaoundé, all the way from America. That's patriotism. This is the kind of Cameroon we're looking for. Converting brain drain into brain gain. So definitely, thanks very much. Guys, seize this opportunity. That's how we created the Camerican podcast, to share opportunities like this. Mr. Oliver, I'll leave you with the last word. Thank you for hosting us.
Thank you so much, my co-host, the only one and only John Etta in the building. All right, I stepped out. For those who notice, I stepped out. I wanted to drink some coffee because this panel was powerful. I needed some coffee. So great job. Thank you, Blair. You nailed it. Talking in the TV like this one platform, like, it can be very challenging because some people will never understand your points. You can be going this way, balancing it, and people are like, what are you talking about? But they don't get what you're saying. They're just kind of being emotional. And they can drop some things and like, are you talking to me like that? Like, that's why some people don't accept invitations like this one, because they don't want to be misinterpreted, misinformed, or misunderstood. And because we came, we felt love, and we would love to have you again. And Blessing is coming for her second time. Renee is coming first time. I think we'll love to.
Renee, we need you again.
Yeah. So thank you for representing the female gender. It's always a blessing for us to have a queen in the platform, and you've always been that one that have never failed us. When we bring your phone, you're like, yeah, I'll think about it. I'll create some time. And we know the importance of time in Canada, what it means to put away your activities and come on board for 1 hour, 2 hours is a lot that we cannot even pay for. And this is an amazing way you're giving back to the community. You know what I mean? Like, this is a lot. This time you come to share, it's a great way to contribute. There's a young woman who's watching this from Boya, from Tico, from Fundong Income, somewhere, from Bamenda, Wala, Yaoundé, who through your story, her life will never remain the same, and her decisions will never be stupid again. They'll make wiser, better decisions, because they listen to your story. And so, Blair, Tam, thank you. God bless you. And to you, Renee, you did a great job also, like Blessing did. I was scared at a certain point that this thing will shut down because of the comments from your fans. Like, everybody can testify that you have a battalion there in Cameroon. And thank God you seem not to love politics. You could have just campaigned for the next presidential candidate, and they're good for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was brilliant that you shared with your community and your platform. And thank you for the great job you're doing. And we are so impressed that we can have a guest from the Camerican Dream podcast who at the end of the day announce job offers. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, that's the purpose of this. Yes. Okay, we'll bring you to come and challenge, inspire, motivate, and then give opportunity. So we are the bridge
Yeah.
kind of between the diaspora and the homeland. And
Yeah.
that is actually so great. We appreciate your time. We appreciate the opportunities you've shared out there. And I'm happy we finally met. I think I felt in my spirit somewhere that we have to meet. And when I met with Gong, Christian, my big bro, so I met you through him. And I'm happy that we finally met in his book launch.
Same
And
here, thank you.
yeah, thanks, man. You're doing a great job. Kudos. And to you, John, thank you, man. You fought all the battles despite every oath. I see how you're trying to rush to the office, how to come out from the car. The internet was dealing with you. You want to take some dinner. I don't know whether it's lunch or dinner right now. And you want to come to the show. And I was just there trying to do it in your behalf, in my behalf, and I could do what I do. And
Thank you very much, bro.
Thank you, bro. Today was a special edition because I sacrificed a very important appointment.
Thank you all. I'm ready to drop, right?
Thank you so much, guys. It was a great
Thank
one.
you.
And look again to have you again next time.
Yep, thank you. Stay blessed,
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
guys. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you all. Bye.
That was some American Dream podcast. Okay, so